Welcome to Women in B2B Marketing, a show where CMOs, VPs of marketing, and all strong women leaders in B2B discuss their top tactics, strategies, and tips for building high-performing teams, leveraging trends, and ultimately rocking their marketing careers. Made by and for women, insightful for all. I'm your host and 15-year B2B marketer, Jane Serra. Let's dive in. Hello. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Women in B2B Marketing. Today we have with us a not so special guest. It's just me. Not to berate myself. I'm sure I'm special to many, but I decided today is a special day. Speaking of special, this is going to be our 100th episode of Women in B2B Marketing. And I was trying to think about who should be the 100th guest for the 100th episode. And I was racking my brain, and there's a million more women I want to get on this show and people I idolize. So many could fill the spot. But A, with scheduling, and B, after thinking about it, I thought, what better time to do a solo episode, which I have never done before. So first of all, yay for 100 episodes. Yay for you all listening. Thank you for tuning in. I so appreciate it. It means the world to me when I see downloads and listens and all those stats, and especially when you all message me on LinkedIn or send me notes. It literally makes me tear up in happiness. So thank you so much. To help me celebrate, number one, I have two requests. Bear with me. And then we'll jump into an actual content episode, I promise. But my two requests to help me celebrate, this would be the best present ever. Number one, if you could rate and review the show and write a little note publicly, because it helps us get in front of more people. You know how algorithms are. You work in marketing or go to market of some sort. So it helps the algo to get more and recent reviews. So yes, the stars, click the stars. I appreciate it. If you have a few minutes, please write a review as well. Seriously, that would be the best present to help me celebrate. So thank you. My second request is I want to hear from you. Let me know what you want to hear more of, what you love about the show. You can tell me what you hate about the show too. I have thick skin, but tell me what you love about the show especially and what you want to hear more of, what topics haven't been covered, what you'd like to hear from the future guests. If you have specific guests you'd like to be interviewed on the show, if you'd like to be interviewed on the show, message me on LinkedIn. It's the best way to get to me. I also connect with me on LinkedIn. I appreciate both. And also, you know what? I'm going to sneak in a third request. Follow 5 women on LinkedIn today. Find 5 women in your feed or that LinkedIn is recommending and just follow them so that you can get more women in your feed, which leads perfectly into the first part of what I want to talk about today, why I started Women in B2B Marketing. So I hope I don't cry in this episode. I might. I'm known to do that. Happy tears, I tell my son. But I first started the show 2 years ago now, a little over 2 years ago. And I had been thinking about it for probably 5 years before that. And I wanted to do it because I looked at my feed. I was always a big podcast listener for probably, 5-7 years now. And I saw my feed and I loved the shows I was listening to. I still listen to them today, but I realized it was all men in marketing talking to other men in marketing. Once in a blue, there'd be a female guest that came on, or even non-binary, right? But they're very rare, far and few between, which did not reflect what my day-to-day looks like. So I looked up some stats. I still don't see very many stats on podcasts in our space, but for women, I think it was 60-something, 70% almost of marketers in general skew female. They identify as women. And except, of course, when you get to the C-suite, then it becomes more like 50%, which is another reason we need this show more to support one another and lift each other up. But I really just wanted to change that. I wanted to change, why does my day-to-day I interact with more women in marketing? More women are on my teams and collaborators, but all of my feed and all of my podcasts that I listen to are men talking to other men. Love you guys, but I need more chicks in my feed. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to start it. I'm going to get out of my own way and stop asking, but who cares if it's me? Why should I do this? Who am I to do this? Why me? All those questions we ask ourselves, which we'll get into later as well. And I realized I'm just going to do it. I said, fuck it, and went for it. And at the very least, I figured I'll meet some cool women and see if I like it. And I can always stop. And if no one listens to it, no harm done because no one heard me. So I launched it, and it has been the biggest joy I shouldn't say the biggest joy in my life, right? My family, first and foremost. It has brought a lot of light to my life. Let's say that. It lights me up every time I record with somebody and I meet somebody new on the show. It just gives me that pep in my step back. So if I'm having a rough day and I'm like, oh, I don't have time to record a show today, I still do it most of the time. And I jump in and I have the interview, and I leave feeling so inspired and motivated and ready to get back to work and just happier. So thank you for being with me on this journey, and this has been amazing. I encourage you to follow whatever lights you up, which is a lesson I learned on this show. And what has changed? This is going to be a little bit of reflection on the past 99 episodes. So what's changed for me? I've built a community through the show. So that's been amazing. I've met a few of my closest friends through this show. So that's also been huge. Personally, my confidence has gotten a lot better. I still hate listening to myself. Who doesn't hate hearing themselves speak? But aside from that, I just feel stronger. Like I feel more solid because I'm talking about what I do and talking about things with people nonstop. So now I feel more confident talking about that marketing and day to day. And I also, since this show, I have gotten more speaking opportunities, and I learned I actually love speaking in public, which who knew? Because that's always been a fear of mine. I used to shake and quiver. I'm sure I still do sometimes getting on stage. But the past couple of years, I was on stage at B2B Rocks in Paris. That was amazing and a dream come true with a fellow guest. Deidre was on the stage with me in Paris. Also, I just recently did a keynote talk for about an hour in place of my CEO at Daxtra at a customer event. And that was speaking to hundreds of people for an hour, presenting on a topic that is not marketing. But I loved it. It was fun. And I got the audience collaborating and talking. So anywho, personal growth on that. So that's been huge. And a few things that are coming next with the show, because a little background, if you don't know, whenever I say we at Women in B2B Marketing, it's just me. And got to give kudos to Dima, my Fiverr editor, who has been the best for the past 2 years and helps me get these episodes cleaned up and good audio quality and up for your ears so your ears don't bleed from hearing my voice too strong and loud in your ears. So thank you, Dima. But it's just my show. I don't make money off of this. I don't currently have any sponsors. This is just, I do this for passion and the personal growth aspect of it. Just FYI, the background, it's just me. And that's why sometimes you'll see me drop the ball. Like this week, I did not publish an episode. Forgive me. And sometimes I just don't market it enough, right? What is it, that joke? The cobbler, if you look at his shoes, he has to wear shoes. The hairstylist never does her own hair. I really don't market this show as well as I want. I barely do anything to do that. So need to work on that. Speaking of coming soon, what I would like to do with this show this year, I have a few plans. You may have heard me talk about this a little bit if you follow me on LinkedIn, but I am going to build it into an aspect of a community. So when I say that, I'm going to launch a few new things. I'm committed this year, because I've said it the past 2 years, but I am committed this year to launch it on YouTube. I know a lot of people are visual learners, visual people just love watching videos, right? And that's your preferred format. I'm an audio person, so I went with the podcast first, but I'm going to launch on YouTube this year. I am also toying with the idea of publishing a newsletter. If you follow me on LinkedIn, I do a Friday 5 when I can find the time on Fridays, just 5 things that I've learned that week or that I've seen and that you should check out across marketing, across supporting women, across personal growth, professional growth, various different things that I'm interested in, as I hope you've heard on this show. So I'm planning to turn the Friday 5 into a newsletter. Thank you to Trinity and Katie and a few others who suggested that idea. I'm going to make that happen this year. Let me know if you'd like to sign up. DM me on LinkedIn. And then third, drumroll, is I am going to have our very first IRL in-person gathering. I'm not going to call it an event. It's not a big, crazy full day thing, but I'm going to have our first ever Women in B2B Marketing meetup. TBD what I'll name it, and all of the details are getting together. But for now, I am planning for this to be in Atlanta around Pavilion's CMO Summit. The CMO Summit, I believe, is April 17th. So I am planning to host a little something on April 16th in the afternoon. I'm not specific on the times yet, but I think it's going to be between 3 and 7. Basically, an afternoon of a couple live recording sessions, a couple fun activities, and really just a ton of networking with other women in B2B marketing. So anyone who identifies as a woman who's in Atlanta, April 16th, and you want to come, let me know. Message me on LinkedIn, the theme of today, and let me know you want to sign up. I will get you on the list. So I will be sharing soon more information and more details, who's going to be there. I'm probably going to keep it to around 30 people, so space is really limited. And fun fact, I am speaking to a couple of potential sponsors for this event just to cover the cost and make this happen. So thank you to those potential sponsors. I will share more as soon as things are locked in and in place. I will share a link where you can sign up. And again, we're going to keep it to probably around 30. I'll let you know if we expand that, but space is limited. So keep your eyes open, stay tuned, follow me on LinkedIn, and I will make sure I share that as soon as I have it. So very excited to meet a bunch of you in person. And if you are not going to be in Atlanta, do not live in Atlanta, and you want me to come to a different city to have another gathering of women in B2B marketing there, also DM me on LinkedIn. Let me know. I'm taking ideas. I'd love to make this something we do more regularly. So yeah, I'm pumped for that. So moving on to the next phase of this episode, what I'd like to talk about are a few of the biggest lessons and takeaways that I've learned from hosting this show and from the 100-ish women that I have interviewed. I say 100-ish because I've had a few rerun episodes, as I'm sure, and I've also spoken to groups at a time. So I think it all balances back out to about 100, but I should tally that up or have chat tally it up for me. I'll let you know. But the biggest lessons that I take away, really themes that I've taken away from all of these conversations, I'll go through now. So the first one, this by far is the most repeated theme on the show, and I love it, and it should be, is building your bod. I'll pause for a second. Swear it's not exercise, though. That's important too. It's building your personal board of directors. So I'm just saying bod. The power of support and building your own community is critical. And almost every single guest has talked about that. So what do I mean by this, and some tactical ideas or tips for this? I would say, first and foremost, you're in the right place listening to a podcast. One action item you can take from this, maybe not this episode, though if we're not connected, it includes this one, is when you listen to a podcast and you love the guest or you love the host and you learn something from that episode, connect with them on LinkedIn and add a note when you're with the connection saying, I love what you said about XYZ on this episode of XYZ show. Or if you disagree and you want to talk about it, you could do that too. But that's an opportunity to reach out and grow your network. If you already learned from that person on a podcast episode that you were listening to, imagine what you can learn from them by having them in your feed on the regular. So that's one piece of advice. Second is, I'm a big proponent or big believer in person connections, especially post-COVID. That's really when I started this show. I was feeling this gap really in my soul of needing more friends who understood things that were going on. So building a friend community inside go-to-market, inside marketing was huge. So when you build the personal board of directors, it can be a mix of things, right? You can have people who are not in the same industry, people who are exactly in your title, people that are who you aspire to be like, your CMOs, right? And board members, advisors, people who run their own company. You can have a variety, but people that you trust and respect and want to learn more from should be in your personal board of directors, your bod. What I've talked to people on this show about is that by building this community, you're continuously learning, right? You're always hearing what's working with them. Some commiseration as well. If you're talking about something that you're struggling with, chances are 9 times out of 10, others in your board of directors, your community will have gone through that as well or are going through it right now. And you can commiserate and hopefully ideate from there what you should do to fix that and address it. So there's just so much power in building the community. The other aspect of this that has come up in many episodes, still on lesson 1 here, is having this community and by building your network, right? Your network is your net worth. You've heard many times, I'm sure a few of you have eye rolled hearing that, but it really is because another benefit here is job security / job opportunities. So when I was looking for a job after I was let go, I was looking and you can apply to hundreds of jobs on LinkedIn. Most of the time, they go nowhere. And now that I'm working in HR tech, I see why. Because a lot of these ATSs, the applicant tracking systems, just completely exclude people and they don't have proper matching technology in the back end, right? That's saying, oh, okay, this person is actually a fit for here, even though they don't have the exact words from the job description on their resume. So that matching is just broken. So you can apply a million times a day on LinkedIn. And you might get a job, but it's going to be a lot harder. What is easier and what works to find a better fit for you is going through your network. So I found a ton of opportunities and interviews I landed through people that I know. So people that I told I was looking for a job or people that I expressed what I was looking for, they had that in mind. And anytime they came across something or a friend of theirs was hiring or someone in their network was hiring, they'd introduce me and that led to an interview. And right away, it gets you through the ATS. It gets you past having to be screened. You get right into that. Half the time, I didn't even need to show my resume because it was just LinkedIn and a recommendation from someone they trust. So the power of your network is just instrumental in building your confidence, building your opportunities, and carving your path for wherever you want to go or pivot in the world. So spend time building your bod, your personal board of directors. That's first takeaway. I would say the second, unfortunately, theme that I've come across is imposter syndrome. However, many of my guests have talked about how they've conquered this. And the biggest theme under imposter syndrome is to do it scared. So I'm sure you've heard this in many shapes and forms. There's a lot of content around this everywhere. But we need to face our fears. And it's okay to be scared. Being scared only means you care, which is great. And it also means that change is coming. It's around the corner. So it's okay to be scared, but do it anyway. For example, when I just spoke on stage last minute to replace my CEO at a speaking opportunity, I was terrified, but I instantly said yes, because that's a huge opportunity. Why would I turn that down? Take opportunities that come your way. Yes, we need to learn when to say no to things, but I think if you have not yet had your yes era, embrace the yes era because that's a good way to battle imposter syndrome. I've seen it. Like I got out of my own way starting this show. I said yes to that event and I learned I love public speaking. Who knew? So doing it anyway, just now I don't feel as much imposter syndrome. I don't think it ever goes away, but it's definitely lessened. And the opposite of saying you have imposter syndrome, right, is you're building your confidence and saying yes to things and trying things and challenging yourself. And when you succeed in challenging yourself, you just feel yes, I can do it. Okay. And it builds your confidence. Another thing that people have talked about, and I was told this a long time ago as well, to build your confidence and to battle imposter syndrome when that sets in is have a wins folder. Create a wins folder. This can be printed out like a physical folder in your house, or it can be a folder on your desktop, on your laptop, on your phone. And anytime somebody gives you kudos or somebody sends you a nice note or you could even be honestly analytics charts from impact that you've had on pipeline, anything that you're like, wow, this is awesome. I succeeded, like any kind of positive feedback or performance from something you did, your achievements, copy, paste, print, save it in that folder so that you can have something to look back at. Anytime you're feeling that imposter syndrome, pull that out. And you're like, okay, you read something great, that is something kind that somebody said to you, how you impacted them or how you achieved something for the company. And you're just like, okay, I can do things. I know my shit. Okay. And it gets you back in the right zone that you need to be in. So that's another recommendation from me. But also, we've talked about that consistently with guests on the show. So facing our fears, doing it scared, and acknowledging our wins also. So when we challenge ourselves, if we succeed in any way, shape, or form, even if the goal was not achieved, it didn't work out as planned, you won in the way that you tested. Okay, you tested this idea and you learned now that maybe that doesn't work in this way, shape, or form. So you can move on to the next iteration. So there's always a win that you can congratulate yourself with. That is theme number 2, I would say, is battling imposter syndrome and getting past that. Third theme resonates with the first 2 as well, but always be learning. First, take a minute. Per my last note on imposter syndrome and getting through that, take a minute and congratulate yourself for listening to this podcast, because I hope, it's my goal, and I've learned from filming this, so I'm sure you've learned from listening from the amazing guests that we have on. You're already taking that step to learning. So congratulations, kudos, give yourself a pat in the back, give yourself a hug, give yourself a high five, as my girl Mel Robbins says. But things are always changing. They're always in flux. Like marketing has always felt that way. Marketing's nonstop changing. I think we're probably all marketers have some form of AD, and we like change and we like beating ourselves up and learning all these things all the time and having to pivot. We thrive in chaos in a way. So we already know that change is inevitable and chaos is inevitable in some ways. So embracing that, learning to embrace it and learning to ride these waves, like AI, the latest change that's happening for us, right? AI, we need to, as much as there's negative things that come with it, right? And things that can scare us, we need to embrace it. This is another thing we've talked about with many guests. If you search through the episodes for AI, it comes up a lot, but there's great tips if you search through the episodes of different tools to leverage and check out. And we just need to embrace it. We need to learn it. Yes, there's downsides, but there's downsides to a lot of things. So focus on understanding it, understand those downsides and how you can course correct or make up for that. And on the plus side, you're going to be learning. So my company at Daxtra, it's HR tech, and it's based on AI. Almost all SaaS has AI built into it right now, right? And what we often say as a tech for recruiters is recruiters are not going to be replaced by AI, but recruiters who embrace AI are going to replace recruiters who do not. And you can replace recruiters with marketers. So AI will not replace marketers, but marketers who leverage AI will replace marketers who do not. So we need to get on this board, but it's a bigger picture of change in general, right? We need to learn and embrace change. Many guests have talked about this in various shapes and forms, and we need to just learn to ride this wave. And one more thing to try to get this to be a very tactical episode too, I hope, a few tools that I'm leveraging. Speaking of AI and marketing, I'll share what I'm using right now. So I am signing today with Tofu. If you have not heard of Tofu, it is amazing. I could not be more excited to start using this platform. I want to sign today and start using it today right away, because it is going to make my tiny team of 2 in marketing at Daxtra feel like a team of 5. It helps us with curation of content and iteration, personalization for ABM campaigns, tons of content repurposing. It learns our voice. There's just so many different aspects. It can help with instant landing page creation, which, that sold my right-hand person at Daxtra on it alone. There's just the landing page side of things. So check out Tofu. I'll let you know how it is as soon as I get started, but I'm very excited for it. Right now, I am leveraging some AI with Riverside I use to record all of my podcast episodes. It gets better and better every time I log in. The interface is new today because I haven't been in a week or so, but it leverages AI to instantly give us clips to leverage. It finds where the best parts are, and it's gotten so much better at this too, finding those key moments inside each episode. So if you think about whether or not you have a podcast at your company or personally, if you record webinars, if you record a live event of any kind, audio or video, and you do that with Riverside, it can chop it up and give you, first, it can take the whole episode and wrap that up for you pretty nicely with branding, but it can also chop up moments for social sharing. So huge for that. I'm sure there's even more that I don't leverage quite yet with Riverside, but check that out. I use another tool called Pod Squeeze for this podcast. Similarly, if you don't run a podcast, that's okay. If you have any content, I use it for audio content, but I do think they're moving into video as well now. But you can upload that content. It's not recorded through Pod Squeeze, but you upload that content into the website, and it chunks things down for you. It gives you title options, descriptions, the full transcript, key moments in the conversation, themes, links that are mentioned. And it also can give you some cute quotes and social things to share as well. So check out Pod Squeeze. They are also always growing and offering new features. So very cool. What are a couple others? One, of course, ChatGPT. I use it every single day now. And I use it as a brainstorming partner for almost everything I do. So if I am thinking about activations for an event we're doing, which events are top on my mind right now because they are driving me crazy, but I use this for activation brainstorming. I also use it for ideation for content, for product names, for a million things. It's not, I don't just submit something and take what it sends out, right? It's not perfect. But as it learns my voice, my style, what we care about, both for work and personally and for Women to Be Marketing, it's starting to nail it more and more. But again, it's not content creation at all. It is an ideation machine, like a brainstorming partner. So to help us get those creative juices flowing, to get through writer's block, to get through any kind of blocks and get us thinking. Okay, before I make this a whole AI episode, let's move on to the next theme, which is theme number 5, takeaway 5 from 100, speaking with 100-ish women on this show, is leading with authenticity. So being yourself as a manager, people manager, project manager, but really it's talking about leading people, either at your company, outside, but it's your team of some sort. Being a leader, being you. So making sure that you find a way to truly be yourself and be authentic. I know that's another word that gives some eye rolls, but making sure that you're always you and leading by example. If you are yourself and you create a safe space for your team, then they will also bring their full selves to work and you'll get to know each other as people. And the leading by example I love to talk about, I probably mentioned it a million times on this show. I used to work at a company called Just Do Know. And one of the co-founders is Eric Christensen. And when I first met him, I think our interview was a video call like this, and his kids were there in the background. And I just loved that. And it ended up being the same for probably half the calls we had. His kids were there with him. And it leading by example, right? That made it okay. I can't work as well when my son is with me. So I have care and he's school now. But if there was a day where he was sick home with me or I was with him for whatever reason, that was totally okay for him to be on the call. There was never an issue. So leading by example and being your authentic self, showing your personality, just huge theme throughout. And not to make this AI overkill, but it's another differentiator, right? Being human, being ourselves. The AI can never replicate that. Our quirky personality, the experiences we've gone through, our irks and things that we love, things that make us laugh, all of that, sharing that as a leader with your team and encouraging that backwards towards you is just huge. It goes really far and it makes the team trust you and bring their best selves and best work as well. So it goes really far. Another side aspect of that has come up a lot on shows, on our episodes, is collaboration being key. So cross-sharing, don't let your team, this is obvious, but the importance of making sure your team is not siloed. Your team and other teams working cross-departmentally with sales, with product team, with finance, super important. I love my CFO. You got to have a good relationship with them, but making sure that you are same with being yourself with your team, making sure cross-departmentally you're building those relationships as well. And back to sharing insights and collaborating, especially within the marketing team, If one person is working on partner marketing, one person's working on content, another is demand gen, each of them is learning something new every day. How can they share and cross-pollinate that information so that each of them is doing even better and better? So making sure that is a part of it too. And I would say last but not least, and the last theme I'll cover, I'm sure there's a million more, but that is a common theme that comes up time and time again on this show, is the importance of knowing your customer. So we all think we know our customer, but pause and ask yourself, do you really? And a great way to test yourself is hop on a call with customer. Make that a routine thing you do. Talk to customers. What's on their mind? Not even specifically with your product or service, but what do they care about? What keeps them up at night? What metrics are they being measured on? Outside of work, how are they doing? Again, learn about them as people, right? But also there's things you can do. So hop on a call. That's one tactical thing you can do here. Make this a routine thing where you talk to customers in whatever role you're in marketing. This is key. It will help any position, any project that you're working on, knowing your customer better. Second, you can, of course, for mass results, you can send a survey to your customers or try not at first, see if you get responses and have it be free. But so you can send a survey if you want to get more aggregate results, like a larger volume. So I recommend doing both. And the third, this is something I want to do more. I think we're very used to as marketers running events and hosting events, planning all the logistics of sponsored events, but not as often do we attend the events in our space or the industry we're in. So that is another great way to see, okay, what topics are being discussed? Which rooms are the fullest, right? What do people really care about in our space? I know I do this for marketing, but I'm not marketing to marketers right now. I'm marketing to TA leaders. So I need to attend more talent acquisition. I know the gist of what their struggles are, but do I really know the nitty gritty? I need to go to more shows to figure this out. The importance of knowing our customers, definitely another theme that's come up that many guests have discussed. And with that, I will close out and not make you listen to me for a full hour. But I hope you enjoyed this solo episode. Again, I'd love to hear what you want to hear more of, who you'd like on the show. Don't worry, this is still a guest interview style show. That is my jam. But if you want solo episodes, let me know. I'm happy to start doing this more. Or if you don't want it, don't worry, I don't have to. But let me know what you want to hear, what topics, what people, questions you want asked of future guests. So I'd love feedback all the time. And again, the best way to celebrate the 100th episode of Women in B2B Marketing with me is to write a review, either Apple Podcasts, Spotify, any podcast app that you listen to this on. Please write a review, rate us, share with a friend, post on LinkedIn, tag us, tag me. And that would be the best way, the best present to celebrate. That would be like confetti for me. So thank you again so much for being a part of Women in B2B Marketing. I hope to do a lot more with you soon. YouTube, newsletter, in real life events, live events, in person. So hopefully, I always say I'll hear you next week, see you next week on the waves here, but I hope to see you soon in real life as well. Thank you all. Have a great day.